price of the future. How many of you have ever had a teacher? It's a bit of a trick question, isn't it? None of us would be here today without teachers. So why are they thought of so little in society and not valued? My name is Meredith King, and I am here today to persuade you to speak up for teachers so that real change can occur in our education system to benefit not only the teachers, but our future children. I have been a substitute teacher for a full school year now. Here's me with my kindergartners, which is my favorite grade level, and I was an interim. I took someone's interim. So I was with these kindergartners for 4 months. I firsthand have seen how educators are treated and valued in the system after being a full year substitute at different schools in our county. And I have always asked myself if this is the career path I want, just because of how undervalued teachers are and underappreciated and underpaid they are. I wonder if the good outweighs the bad. I have a passion and a love for teaching inside the classroom, but there is a lot of downsides to teaching in our current times. I'm speaking out today because if we do not seek change in our legislation, laws, and budgets, society will crumble under the loss of our education system. I have spent my life around educators. My mother was a North Carolina teacher for 30 years, so I have been privy to every single detail of teaching. I have always saw the same struggles: salaries not making ends meet, feelings of inadequacy from not supportive admin and parents, health issues, being overworked, and being the pawns in a lot bigger games than just teaching. My proposition: society should change its perception of teachers to give educators professional respect, higher wages, better working conditions, and proper benefits in order to retain a successful teaching population. Today we're going to discuss 3 claims. The first one is going to be our working conditions. Teachers work in hazardous conditions and have lack of proper benefits. The expectations, the workload and the pressures are pushing out good teachers. And funding cuts. They are underappreciated and underpaid. So we're first going to talk about the safety and the mental health. The working conditions for teachers are poor and they do lack proper benefits. Teachers lack support from admin, parents, and the community. Our first case over here is going to be the Abuser Werner case. Abuser Werner sued her school district and her personal vice principal for neglect when it came to violence in her classroom. She had had behavior problems with a child, and this child had threatened that they were going to shoot this teacher, and they said that they had a gun. After this was reported to the vice principal never came into the classroom to help, and later that day, Abuser Werner was shot by a 6-year-old student in her first grade classroom. And the people who came to help were not her administrative team. They were other teachers who heard it. She got shot in front of her students, and they all have to live with the trauma of that for the rest of their lives. And the support of her principals and admin was non-existent. She sued the district and the teacher in a criminal and civil case, and she won a $10 million settlement for proving that they were neglectful in the act of this. I also want to bring up school shootings. It is a hazardous working condition being a teacher in today's society, and that is a crazy thing to think about when you think of teachers taking care of students and teaching them things and helping shape their minds for a future. You'd never think that that's going to be a hazardous condition, but people do fear for their safety in the classroom, and this statistic here shows the rise in school shootings being deadly and just injuries in a 20-year time span. Now we are in 2026, so this has risen well above that 100 mark. And it's very sad that everybody in this room can probably think of a school shooting that stood out in their mind to them. Mine was the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. I was in elementary school when that happened. I was in 4th grade. I remember that. And it stuck into my brain because it was the first moment where I felt real fear walking into a classroom. It set into me that my mom was a teacher at the school and she could be shot and killed, that I could be shot and killed in a classroom. And that's way too young to be thinking of that. And we have children who are not even in school yet who have fears like that. That is not how we should be living as a society. I wanted to talk about the pressures and the burnout load. So the expectations and the workload does not support teacher retention. Teachers are experiencing burnout at an all-time high, which makes them leave the profession for good. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, mental exhaustion that is caused by stress. So we have their cycle right here. The unfair consequences and disrupted learning leads to student stress, leads to disruptive behavior and lack of attention, chaotic classrooms and low performance scores, and it ends with teacher stress and exit from the profession. Teachers are only valued by the test scores that they can receive and how well the students do. And that measurement is completely unrealistic for any profession to be expected to do the same exact thing. It also makes their wages and see how they are important and valued they are to our government systems, whether that be state, county, district, even in your own schools. It is really all up to a bunch of people that are making a decision and a council for you. A survey from the University of Missouri asked 500 public school teachers questions and found that 78% of them thought about quitting since the pandemic because of excessive workload, inadequate compensation, student behavior, and a lack of support from their administration teams. I also want to talk about, this is the attrition and vacancy data. If you see here, in 2022, or 2021 to 2022, and then the fiscal year 2022 to 2023, the number of attrition, so this is how many teachers we lost. We lost 7,000 the year before, and then the year after, almost 3,000 more teachers quit in this profession. That's an 11.5% jump from 7.8. And if you see here, they hired the year before 11,495 teachers. So they are almost at a rate that they are hiring so many teachers in the state of North Carolina that the next year they're losing almost all of the teachers that they hired that previous year, which is incredible. Funding cuts and lower value of our teachers. So here I have the North Carolina General Assembly got an F on their report card because NC teacher pay is $10,000 below the national average. We are ranked 46th out of all states in our country. And if you see here, this talks about our spending per pupil. We are in the negatives for spending for our students. If you see, every other state around us is not anywhere near where we're at. The average is 15,000 and we are at negative 5,000. That spending per student, per teacher, is no question why teachers are underpaid and there's not funding in schools to have support in our public school systems. The devaluation and constant funding cuts that occur in education, they damage the public faith that people have in teachers. You see an uptick of charter schools and maybe schools and churches becoming like that and homeschooled rather than our public school system because people are not, our government and our leaders are not investing in our children's future. They're slashing funding from us constantly and education is always first on the chopping block. They are always looking for to cut costs, and education is always first for that. The allocation of funds is dictated by federal, state, county, and district. So the more people's hands are in that, the less and less the funds get passed down to people. You can see that in higher districts, our commissioners are taking a lot bigger pay raises, and then the teachers don't get any percentage of that. It never trickles down. We have stagnant wages, caps, and freezes depending on the political state of our country. NC, they've cut pay raises for higher education and certifications. The NC General Attorney has yet to pass an education budget for this fiscal year, and we are 8 months into this year. And it is based on political tensions and stalemates. Teachers do not receive cost of living bonuses or raises, that inflations make paychecks obsolete. Just this year, my school that I was working at cut 4 full-time positions for our kids. Now we're already in a teaching crisis and they want teachers, but we still do not have the necessary resources to employ them. This needs to change. It affects more than just teachers, it affects everyone in the world. This is everybody's future. In conclusion, this is a very important discussion to have. We cannot succeed in the future without changing the current education system. Teachers need support, better working conditions, and higher pay. The next time you wonder if teachers deserve better, then just remember that you wouldn't be here without the hard work and sacrifices of educators. All of our dreams for the future weigh on the shoulders of teachers. So stand up and speak up for teachers as they have done for you.